It's a constant encouragement to restructure companies, to actually give up some industries and move out of some activities. Those among you who are in the electronics industry or in the computer industry, hardware I mean then, will maybe remember that Singapore in the end of the 90s was the biggest producer of disk drives. There's not one single disk drive produced today anymore in Singapore. That industry is gone 10 years later. It all moved, of what is left of it, moved first of all to Penang and then later on to Thailand, and I don't know where it is now. But it's a constant and sometimes ruthless restructuring of the economy and going into new activities. Today, Singapore is a significant financial center. About 50% of my students of the university, and we graduate about 1,750 students per year, about half of them go currently into the financial sector in one way or another. I don't mean necessarily in finance jobs, but they can also go into accounting or in auditing or in information systems for banks, etc. But about 50% of my students go today into jobs related to the finance industry. That finance industry basically didn't exist 10 years ago. It is not clear what it will look like 10 years from now. And there is a constant thinking about what may be the new industry in which we will be big in a few years from now. But in order to do that, one needs to attract talent. And talent, not necessarily artistic talent, although also that is attracted, but foreign talent, not too low labor cost, but to enhance the talent pool. To bring in those skills and ideas which do not exist today within the country. The philosophy of the government is if access to labor is too easy, in other words, if the labor is too cheap, companies have little incentives to enhance productivity. And how does the country do that? It's a country that believes in free markets by pricing. And that is, if you want today recruit foreign talent in areas that the government thinks is not the right area where you could recruit foreign talent, they just make the price higher. You have to pay a fee for employing foreign talent, and if that's in an area that the government doesn't deem to be interesting for the country, they just up the fee. It's a very simple price mechanism. But as the Prime Minister said, and this is a quote that I take from Lee Hsien Loong, it remains critical for Singapore to continue attracting highly capable and entrepreneurial people from around the world. They complement homegrown talent and add to the critical mass of talent in science, engineering, design, finance, and startup capacity. The other element of the policies is to invest in top quality education and enhancing R&D, and there very often the benchmark is countries like Finland, Sweden, Denmark, where they say 3.5% of GDP spent on research and technology development. That's where we want to be. As a consequence, when I talk about quality of education, the government has invested heavily in universities, like here, but invested in universities and attracted some of the best providers and students from around the world. In the mid-90s, the government came to the conclusion that its two existing universities were middle-of-the-road, boring institutions. And they wanted to say, they said to themselves, if we want to be a knowledge economy, if we want to be a major player in knowledge, in the knowledge economy, we need much better universities. How do you improve your universities? For a government that believes in free markets, how do you do that? By creating competition. How do you create competition? By creating new universities. SMU stands for my university, Singapore Management University. SUTD is Singapore University for Technology and Design. But also by bringing in foreigners. INSEAD, MIT, Chicago Business School, ESSEC, which is a French school. TISH is the New York University's School for Arts and Design. And a few other cases. Also, the universities went in alliances with other universities, such as Yale, Duke, or Imperial recently, for creating a new medical school. Research teams from overseas universities were attracted, and finally the government said, if we want to change science and technology in this country, and we do it with our own people, it's going to take 20 years. So let's attract some of the best talents from all over the world and give them a laboratory in Singapore and let them work here. That's what they call the whales. It's like a big whale, and you attract a small fish that will swim around them in symbiosis. So they've attracted from all over the world, United States, United Kingdom, Germany, France, and a few other places. They've attracted leading researchers, have given them a laboratory and have allowed them to develop that laboratory, in that way trying to educate and grow their own people in that process.